just wanted to kind of talk to you about what I went through during my pregnancies, what happened after my pregnancies, and how I'm recovering now and what I'm going through. I know a lot of moms may have these problems or have had these problems, so I really want to try to help some people, make sure they're not alone, and I'm here for you. So, first of all, I got pregnant with my first child, Macy. In July, we found out, so I guess I got pregnant with her in June, but she was born February 15th at 4:34 p.m. She was 5 pounds, 6.5 ounces, and she was 18 3/4 inches long. Now, she was born at 35 weeks, so that's 5 weeks premature if you're going by the 40-week gestational period. When my water broke, I went to the hospital and I was not dilated whatsoever. So right away they started me on Pitocin. Nothing happened. Not one contraction, no pain, nothing. Didn't feel anything. They ended up upping it and upping it and upping it until the maximum amount, and I still was not contracting. So after 31 hours of being in labor, which, I mean, when your water breaks, you're technically in labor, but I was not having any contractions or anything like that. But since it had been so long, in order to prevent infection, I had to have a C-section. So I got prepped and ready for that, had the C-section, and she came out. Now, mind you, I was like totally not with it because I was on morphine and I had a spinal and I was just, happy, and I had my baby and everything's great. Okay, so what I didn't know is that she was born, and when she came out, she was having a really hard time breathing because her nose was completely twisted and smashed over to the other side. So what we ended up figuring out is that she was born with a dislocated nose. And we think it's because of how she was positioned inside my uterus. And I pretty much knew from like 20 weeks on, she was kicking and everything. All that was great. She was moving. However, she was always in the same position. She was always head down, to the side. Her butt was always like right here. So it kind of makes sense that she was smushed. So basically, the pediatrician decided to relocate her nose while we were in the hospital, and obviously we did not see any results from that for actually like 4 months. In the meantime, we had been taking her to ENTs, ear, nose, and throat doctors, to see if she had sleep apnea, to see if she had a deviated septum, to see if something else was, more wrong. And then also her face was really, really flat, and we weren't sure if that was because she was all smushed in there or if she had a mental disability or some kind of disease or, I don't know, disorder. She doesn't. That all came back normal. So basically, by the time she was 6 months, she looked perfectly normal. But that had us scared for a while in the beginning. And then when TJ went back to work, a week after I had I think it was 2 weeks after I had her, because I had a C-section, I couldn't drive anywhere. So he had taken 2 weeks off, and he went back to work. I was on the couch with her, just doing fine. All of a sudden, I started getting shooting pains in my chest, like I was having a heart attack. I could not even move. I had to crawl across the floor to unlock the front door so my neighbor could come in and call 911. So I went to the emergency room, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me, whatever. Weeks had passed, and I kept having these pains in like my chest. Everyone was saying it was acid reflux or anxiety. I don't know. I ended up going to my general physician, and she ordered a sonogram. So I got that done, and I ended up having 4 gallstones, which I did not realize that this happens to a lot of women after they give birth and are pregnant. They develop these gallstones, and then they need their gallbladder out. So 6 weeks after I had my first child, I had to go back under the knife and have surgery to get my gallbladder out. Yes. So that happened. So that was the second thing that happened. Fast forward a year. When Macy was a year old, we decided to start trying for a second baby, and we became pregnant with a son, TJ Jr. And because I went early with Macy, okay, so after I became pregnant with my second child, TJ Jr., we had been discussing at my prenatal appointments whether or not I should be on progesterone shots. And we ended up deciding to go ahead with those. So TJ had to learn how to give me progesterone shots once a week. And that was to hopefully prevent premature labor. Well, I think it did prevent premature labor. However, I was having so many contractions. I think I ended up going to the hospital 4 or 5 times, thinking that I was in full-fledged labor because I was just having these horrible contractions. They would last for forever. I did not know what was going on. There were a couple times I thought my water broke because I was leaking fluids, and hi. And it ended up being that the last time I went, my water had broken. It was a slow leak in the back of the bag of water, so it wasn't like a big gush of water. It was more of a trickle and whenever I stood up kind of thing. So I did end up, you know, my water was broken. And since I had a C-section, okay. Since I had a C-section with this one, I had to have a C-section with him, and he was just a couple days shy of being 37 weeks. So he was technically born at 36 weeks, which I don't know. I don't really call that early just because 37 weeks is technically full term. So he was born on January 2nd of 2014, and he was, let's see, 6 pounds, 12 ounces, and 20.5 inches long. He came out, he was fine, he had no problems, everything was great. The only thing that happened was I noticed that I had a huge, it was like a blood blister, but it was outside of my face. I'll try to insert a picture. I don't know if I have any. You're right there. Sit back. I don't know if I have any pictures anymore. I knew I did on my old phone, but it's not like I want to look at them because it looked like I was a Wicked Witch of the West, and it was disgusting. And it ended up being that I had a hemangioma. And that is basically when all the blood vessels gather in one area and either stay below the surface and create like a blood bubble underneath, or it comes out of the skin, which would happen with me. And can you stop kicking me, please, honey? Thank you. So it had come out of my skin, so I ended up having to go see a plastic surgeon, and I had that removed. And I don't know if you can see. I'll try to show. I have a scar right here from where that was removed. So that was the second, or the second surgery I had after surgery. So I ended up having 2 C-sections, a gallbladder removal, and a hemangioma removal after my pregnancies. Honestly, I think we're done having kids. I don't know if we're going to have any more. I mean, I'm not 100% that we're done. However, the problems I've had with my pregnancies, I really don't want to have any more.
I can see.
You're right there, honey. Say hi. So I don't know. I guess we're just going to go with the flow on that. So, but anyways, about, let's see, I think when Junior was about 3 months old, we noticed that he had, like, it looked like a bruise on his cheek, but it was warm to the touch and it was like a bump. And what we ended up finding out is that he also had developed a hemangioma, and it was under the skin, that it would go away completely by the time he was 5. And it's actually gone away significantly, and he's only 1. We can't even really see it anymore unless you really, really are looking for it. And the hemangiomas, both mine and his, are, they said that they were from a side effect from the progesterone shots. So that is the crazy stuff I have been through to have these 2 beautiful babies. I would do it all again, but it's so hard, you know, being a mom and staying at home and, you know, not really having much of a life for myself, but I would do anything for my kids, huh? All right, well, that's it. I hope I helped. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Sorry about that, guys. So basically what I was going to say is if you have any questions, if you're going through any of these problems, if you're having a hard time deciding if you want to get pregnant again, if you feel the same way I do, please comment down below. Don't be afraid to talk to me on Twitter or follow me, subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to try to make more helpful videos like this as much as I can. So please let me know if you want more videos like this, what other videos you want me to make. So I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.